Okay. So you guys are all sisters.
Yeah, that's her daughter.
And you're, okay, so your granddaughter then. Okay, good. All right, give me a moment here. Oh, okay. So I have to tell you then, first of all, from your dad, and I want to communicate this properly the way he's showing it to me, because if I don't get it right, he's going to strike lightning bolts, because that's his personality. He's really honoring this moment because it's the father and the child and then the little one. There's like the Trinity, and he says it's just right. And he has waited for a chance to talk to all of you at the same time. It's just really, really special to him. He's just puffed up with pride. So I'll tell you that. There's an L, like Lillian or Lisa. Linda, yeah. So he's going to talk to you first then.
I was his favorite.
Well, yeah. Okay, hang on a minute then. There's also a Paula or Pauline that he's wanting me to mention who's still here. She's not here today, but who's part of the family or a friend or someone who's kind of in your circle. Okay, so let me talk with you first then from him. I know we talked about music earlier, but your dad is saying the same thing for you, Linda. He says one of his barometers as an angel is when he sees you singing and when he sees you with music, he knows you're happy.
That's a lot.
And so it's important that you sing because then he feels that joy that's coming from you.
They don't like my singing.
Well, then you tell them that when you sing, it's the sound of angels.
Okay.
And angels rejoice at your songs. That is a way, too, that your father communicates and connects with you, is with songs and the radio flipping off and on and different things with music.
You have that.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. And he's just confirming that that's his presence. There's a March birthday or anniversary.
That's my birthday.
Yep, and he's honoring that. He celebrates that with you. He also tells me about like a lemon, well, he's showing me pie, like lemon meringue pie, and talks about making some of his sweet favorites for your birthday from him. He's funny. He says you've got to keep listening. I know you talk to him all the time. Yeah. He says, would you listen too? Because you talk.
I don't listen.
Yes, that's what he's saying is, yes, of course he's listening to you, but if you'll listen, you'll hear him in response to your calls. So there's nothing for you to get stressed out or worried about that. Just listen. He's teasing you about squirrels. I don't know if you have like an outbreak of squirrels in your yard lately or crazy with...
No, my dog used to decapitate him, and I thought that was funny for some reason, but yeah.
All the squirrels are with your dad.
Yeah.
All the long-lost squirrels that your dog took out. Your dad's feeding them in heaven. That's nice for him. And he's shown me a boat and an anchor. And he says he was an anchor for you in a lot of ways.
He was.
And he appreciates that you have learned how to anchor yourself. And that's been hard coming because you counted on him to do that, but he's acknowledging that for sure. Someone also has a connection with the Navy or wanting to enlist or talking about joining the military.
Could be.
Yeah.
Father's also in the spirit.
And he was in the military, yes. He's with you too. Okay, there's a George.
Yeah, that's our grandfather.
Yeah, that's him, just so you know.
He was in the military also? Yes.
Yeah, he's very proud and he's kind of a rock in the family, except that he doesn't want the responsibility, so he won't really, he's just kind of,
quiet.
He is. But he also likes to have his space too, but just know that he's a very good guide as well. Have you been like painting on a lot of things lately, or doing some, not as in painting a house, but like painting on pottery, or doing something where you were doing detail work or some kind of decorating?
I'm getting ready to. I just bought a house here.
Yes, you did the right thing. Your dad says it worked out miraculously, it worked out beautifully, and it's what he wanted for you.
Well, ask him if I should take the job. But I just
After you negotiate the money more,
okay.
It's not quite right, not yet,
Okay.
not yet. And he says when you get over the fact that you think you have to settle, then you'll make this job right for you. But it's going to have to be up to you. Did you work in a bookstore for a while, or have you been spending a lot of time? You did, yeah. Your dad's honoring that, the working in the bookstore. Don't ever feel like you've missed your chances, your dad says. You've never missed a chance.
No.
There's always second chances and third chances and fourth chances. And that's one thing, I'll talk to Andy just for a moment. That's one thing that Andy taught you, is that you don't ever miss an opportunity. When it's right, it's right.
That's right.
And just be patient in the meantime. All the things you're growing right now, he says his little spirit, Andy's spirit, is an angelic gardener, so he's honoring that.
Yeah. Lots of herbs. And
Yes,
to redo the whole
and
picture.
it's doing so beautifully. There's a connection with New Mexico too. So he's shown me traveling out to New Mexico or being in that part of the country, and that's part of heaven for him. Looks like that with the, yeah, it's a very sacred, and that's very much how on earth he can communicate a little bit of like what heaven is. Okay, besides you, Linda, there's another L, like Lenny or Alan. This is a man.
I have a granddaughter named London.
And London too. Yes, her. But for Alan, just I want to acknowledge him as well. Your granddaughter looks up to you quite a bit. Your dad says just keep smiling and having joy with her because that's important. Somebody had like a blood work thing done recently. Did you had to have like your annual exam, or you did? Okay, I'm trying to get to everybody else. He says everything's fine. It's all good. There was somebody played flute or clarinet in band. He's showing me that.
Plays the trombone.
Oh, he's in
Not
there.
the trombone, the tuba.
The tuba.
Yes,
Your father's in
Just went
band.
through band camp.
Oh yeah, your dad's with him. He says he watches over him too. There's 3 children. Do you have 3? Mm-hmm. You've got.
Oh, I have 3.
You have 3
Yes,
children.
I
Yes.
have 3. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I have 3. Yes, I have
No.
3. And yeah.
Yes. Your 3 who are here. Yes, and he's honoring your dad's honoring all of them.
My son looks just like my father.
And they're together. They're together. Okay, so there's a B like Ben or Bill that your son is mentioning.
That's still living.
Who's still here. Yes, and he says tell him I love him. He wants him to get a message. Also your son says that he wasn't hard. He just opened his eyes and there was light. And he's very much in the light. He says the most important thing and really the only thing he can say to you is I love you. And that's such a complete feeling from him. There's just no doubts that you loved him and that he loves you and that he's with you. And you communicate with him and he's
I do
honoring
all the
that.
time.
Yeah, and he says it's complete. It's just really neat. It's nice to have the validation, but he says it's complete just as it is. You know the song Amazing Grace?
Yes.
Yeah, your son is singing that to me, and he says, you are the spirit of grace, and he's acknowledging that. There's a December birthday or anniversary or connection with your son, too, that he's mentioning. And then there's a man with an S name who's here, like Scott.
That's her son.
That's your son, okay, yeah, so, and he's recognizing him and acknowledging him, too. Your son says, Mom, I don't ever regret taking a chance to help someone else or risking things for love. So he has no regrets, none at all. There's a cat too that's connected with your family that he shows me really pays attention to him or sees him, and he's honoring that.
You have all those.
Yeah, yeah. And there's also a Chris or Kelly.
That's my son-in-law.
Is Kelly, yeah. Your son says he's a good part of the family.
He is.
It's taken some time to warm up to him.
different, but he's
Yes,
good.
but he's good in that he helps you see things differently, and he's honoring that. And I don't know if for your son, 7th grade was really hard, or if there was a lot of.
He was a baby.
He was just okay. Give me just a minute. When you were in 7th grade, was there a lot of changes going on for you during that time, like between elementary and junior high?
Well, it's probably mine. We moved.
Is that when you moved for your kids? Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm seeing around that 7th grade time a lot of changes and a lot of struggles in the family. The one thing your dad and all your angels are saying, you guys are so strong at your core that you support one another and you make things right. So just know that they're all acknowledging that. There's a lady who had either breast cancer or lung cancer who's on the other side too.
My mother-in-law.
Yeah, she says to say thank you to you for raising a beautiful family and for honoring her. Can you guys still hear me okay? Or do I need to yell? Yell! I'm not yelling. Okay, thanks. There's also a Judy or Janie who's connected with their family, with your husband's side of the family. And she might be one that you reach out. Do you have a Judy?
I'm sorry.
Okay, good. No, it's okay that you don't, because I'm trying to talk to her for a minute. So yes, but again, your mother-in-law says thank you for being so good to her family. Someone had like a colon cancer.
My father had pancreatic
cancer, and then it spread all over. Yeah, and he says, I had it, but I sure don't anymore. And it never had him either. He said it had my body, but it never had my spirit. No. And he just, there's a huge difference. It never stopped him, he says. There's a Trudy or Terry or a Tammy who's connected to your family, who your dad's recognizing or acknowledging, who's still here. So she might be one that you reach out to too. Your son just talks to you all the time. He does. It's just pretty cool how strong it is, and how there's no words for it. It's just that knowingness. Yeah. It's really, really neat. I don't know if he had a thing about, do you have a lock of his hair, or was there just a little bit of hair?
I don't.
From your son, were you going through old baby pictures?
No, I've never lost any kid.
No.
I've lost a son also.
From your son, did you have a little lock of his hair?
They were all babies.
But they didn't get, was he born, did he have a lot of hair? Okay. Did you miscarried yours too? Okay. Will you go, I know your son is telling me about like locks. You know, sometimes people grow their hair out for locks of love, or where they donate hair. Were you helping something with children's keep? That's exactly what it is. Yes. Your son says that is. Just do that. Yep, keep doing that. I know it takes a little bit of effort, but he says to do it, and he knows about that. There's a concept. He says there's a thought about mercy. Like, he's so bright and so light that this world would have been a lot for him with his spirit. And he says, so he's where he needs to be, and he can guide you in the way he needs to guide you, and love you the way he needs to love you. There's a Sean or a Seth. Samuel. Yeah, he's watching over him, and that's your son. Yes, so I know he's not little, but your son is honoring him. That would be his brother, and he says just send his love to him. Has Samuel been does he pop his knuckles a lot, or has he been doing something? He does, yes. So your son's watching over him too. He says he is an angel for the family, and your dad keeps him. It's just really beautiful how close they all are. There's a lady named Juanita or Willa who's connected with your family too. Did you have a Winifred?
My husband has a cousin, Winnie.
Winnie, yeah. She just says hello.
She's passed.
Yeah. Tell your husband that she said hi. It'll give him the creeps. It will. That's what she said. It'll spook him. That's why she wants to do it, because he needs to be rattled a little bit.
That's true.
She's kind of ornery.
Yeah, she is a sweet spirit.
She is, but she needs him to know that there's more to life than what he sees right in front of him. And he's lost sight of that lately.
Yes,
and that's why
so
she's coming out and saying, please talk to him and tell him that I'm here. And there's an M like Melissa or Martha, who's also connected with his family. Mm-hmm. So
there is.
Yeah.
He had an aunt.
Yep. So she says, double jeopardy for him. And the two of them are there to encourage him and inspire him. So just let him know that he's got angels with him. One other thing from your son, he says to keep writing, keep journaling and keep writing, and even like daily prayers or daily affirmations like that. He wants you to write that, because I think you'll write a book at some point, maybe even a children's book. But just day by day, do things like that, and it'll be a really nice thing. Your dad says he loves you. He doesn't want. He says sometimes he just takes for granted or assumes that you know that he loves you, because he does. But he says he wants to finish with you, and just to tell you out loud and to confirm, I love you. And he wants you to hear that and to accept it and remember it always. And it's spoken, and so it is. So thank you all very much. Okay. I'm glad I got 2 dozen roses. There you go.